I need to get this story out of me. It's been eating away at me for years. The memory of that night, the choices I made, the guilt, and the relief, all tangled up inside me. It was a night that challenged everything I thought I knew about duty, morality, and the consequences of doing the right thing. I was a military nurse, sworn to uphold the highest standards, but sometimes the lines blurred, and the right thing felt very, very wrong. It started like any other day at the base hospital. The ER was relatively quiet, a low hum of controlled chaos that we were all used to. Then, the call came in. A training exercise gone wrong. A mid-air collision, multiple casualties. The controlled hum turned into a frantic scramble. Stretchers wheeled in carrying broken bodies and panicked faces. The air grew thick with the smell of antiseptic and fear. We worked tirelessly trying to save as many lives as possible. But some were beyond our reach. I saw the light fade from their eyes, the life drain out of them. The guilt was immediate and overwhelming. We were trained for this, prepared for the reality of war, but nothing could truly prepare you for the weight of a life lost. Among the survivors was a young pilot, barely clinging to life. He had sustained multiple injuries, his body broken and battered, but his spirit, his will to live, burned bright in his eyes. He was a fighter, this one, and I found myself willing him to live, praying he wouldn't become another casualty of this tragedy. We managed to stabilize him, pulling him back from the brink, but his battle was far from over. As we moved him to the ICU, I felt a pang of something more than just professional concern. It was a strange mix of relief and dread. He was alive, yes, but what awaited him now was a different kind of battle. The fight for his career, his reputation, and I knew, with a sinking feeling, that I would be thrust into the heart of it. The order came down for a mandatory blood draw on all pilots involved in the accident. Standard procedure, they called it, to determine if there was any impairment during the training exercise. The blood samples were treated like sacred artifacts, their chain of custody meticulously documented. Every step, from the moment the needle pierced the skin to the time it reached the lab, had to be accounted for. No room for error, no room for doubt. I was tasked with drawing the young pilot's blood. As I prepped the syringe, I saw the fear in his eyes, the unspoken question hanging in the air. His career, his entire future, rested on this blood test. And I knew with a sickening certainty that it wouldn't be good. The whispers had already started, rumors of a reckless maneuver, a possible lapse in judgment. They were just whispers for now, but soon, they would turn into accusations. And this blood test, this vial of blood, would be the nail in his coffin. Section 5, a silent rebellion. I stood there, needle poised, my mind racing. I could follow protocol, draw the blood and seal his fate. Or I could do something unthinkable, something that went against every rule I was taught to follow. I could buy him time, a chance to fight. I looked at the young pilot, his face pale and drawn, and made my decision. I drew the required vials for the official test, my hands steady, my face betraying nothing of the turmoil inside. But then, with my heart pounding in my ears, I drew one more. An extra vial, one that wasn't on the order sheet, one that wasn't supposed to exist. I labeled it carefully, a mirror image of the official sample, and hid it away in my pocket, a small act of defiance, a silent rebellion. Days turned into weeks as the investigation into the accident continued. The young pilot was recovering, slowly but surely, but the cloud of suspicion hung over him. And me, I carried the weight of my secret. The extra vial a constant reminder of the risk I had taken. Then the phone call came. It was the lab, requesting a new blood sample from the pilot. Apparently there had been an issue with the original vial. A clerical error, they called it. But I knew better. This wasn't about a clerical error, this was about confirming their suspicions, about finding the evidence they needed to destroy a young pilot's career. I felt a chill run down my spine. The consequences of my actions slammed into me with the force of a physical blow. If they ran the test again, they would find it. The discrepancy, the evidence of my deceit. My career would be over, I would be court-martialed, dishonorably discharged. My mind raced, trying to find a way out, but there was only one option. I had to get rid of the compromised vial, replace it with the one I had hidden away. That night, I snuck into the lab, my stomach churning with fear and adrenaline. I found the box where the blood samples were stored, my hands shaking as I lifted the lid. Inside, nestled among dozens of other vials, was the one I was looking for. With a deep breath, I made the switch. The original vial went into my pocket, replaced by the extra one I had drawn weeks ago. I resealed the box, my heart pounding in my ears, and slipped out of the lab undetected. The new test came back clean. The investigation concluded, citing pilot error but no evidence of impairment. The cloud of suspicion lifted from the young pilot. He was free to fly again. I watched him return to the skies, a bittersweet victory. I had done what I believed was right. I had saved his career, his future, but at what cost? I had betrayed my oath, falsified official documents. The weight of my actions, the knowledge of my deceit, settled deep within me. The guilt was a constant companion, a shadow that followed me wherever I went. But there was also a strange sense of relief, a quiet satisfaction that I had done something truly meaningful. I left the military shortly after. The memories of that night, the choices I made, continued to haunt me. But telling this story, sharing my secret, lightens the burden even just a little. I know that what I did was wrong, but I also know that I would do it again. Because sometimes doing the right thing means breaking the rules. Sometimes it means living with the consequences, no matter how heavy they may be. This is the story I carry with me, the secret I kept, the dilemma I faced, and the lasting impact it has had on my soul.